let's see what wants to come out today. All right, okay. I feel you pushing someone energy back. I'm not saying they're with you, but their energy's coming at you, I'm feeling. Okay, gosh. Someone's obsessed with you. But I don't think you know it. Or you might have an inkling. Okay, but they are possibly low-key. Not in a bad way. They're just very interested to find out exactly what you're doing and what you're up to. But I feel that you've put very strong boundaries in place now. This person made you very angry. They could have had some addiction with this card here, okay? They could have been controlling. You could have had to have blocked them, not because you inherently wanted to, but because of their behaviour, okay? But yeah, they are definitely watching you or trying to find out what you're doing with. I think this person, before we go any further, was quite controlling in some shape or form. Okay, they were quite controlling, but I don't think that was apparent to start with. I think their controlling tendencies were dressed up as caring for you, but actually deep down I think they were a little bit controlling. Okay, let me get this deck out and let's see Lenormand, to the point, and let's see what's going on here. Just while I'm shuffling though, welcome back. I hope you're all okay. Thanks so much for watching, all your support, all your comments. I do read all of them. I'll take that one, turn it over in a minute. And like I say, I hope you're all okay. If you'd like a reading, just click on the title of this video if you're on a mobile. That will take you through to the description box, and the links to the website are in there, and all the readings are on there. And check out the free relationship report as well. Okay, I just saw the fox actually. Okay, let's Lukey. Yeah, it's their energy. Let's see other person's energy. So they're a bit of a sneaky one, aren't they? Bit of a sneaky person. I'm saying that so you'll know it's your read. If they weren't sneaky or deceptive, then this reading's not for you. Okay. Yeah, this is somebody who looked at other options whilst they were with you, or you felt they were looking at other options. Okay. What they're doing now, though, with these cards is they are trying to work out what you're doing because they're not happy with what they're doing. They made a decision, some sort of decision, which they're not happy with now, okay? So they're looking at moving on, they're looking at their options, they're looking at their choices. But I feel really strongly today that this is somebody who possibly had some sort of addiction. They were controlling, they were always looking at other options, and they were selfish, and they were a little bit deceptive. Okay, and that's why this card came out right at the beginning with your energy, that I do feel you're either still angry or you don't actually give a damn now. Okay, that you just don't care. This person thought they were clever, but no. There's a song I can hear. Is it Devil? Yeah, might have heard that the other day as well. Devil went down to Georgia. You know, that song you play. I'm just hearing that they thought they could play you, but you were the stronger one, and you still are the stronger one, although it didn't feel like it at the time, okay? Because they hurt you a lot, they avoided conversations, they were a little bit controlling, or a lot controlling actually. But they are watching you. They're watching you, okay? They're hoping to get your attention with something, but I'm not sure what. Let's see what's going on in their energy. Let's get the tarot deck out. I don't trust this person. Not with the fox and the crossroads. I don't trust them. See, the crossroads in a love reading is somebody who's always looking at other avenues out of somewhere, okay? But I don't feel that you had enough breathing space. I'm hearing that that they controlled you in some shape or form, and control isn't always obvious. It can be very, very subtle. Okay, it can be very, very subtle, but somebody watching this today was controlled, and I feel, well, I know what's happened here, that you've broken out. You're like, no, I've got boundaries, never again, you hurt me, I'm not getting involved in this. Okay, because they made you dependent on them in some shape or form, which, you know, don't ever beat yourself up about that if you ever have done or are still doing. It happens, and people know what they're doing, okay? Because if you're trusting and somebody says they're doing something for you because they want to help you, well, you trust, don't you? You don't think they've got some ulterior motive that's going to benefit them, because you don't think like that, okay? You know, it's just, unfortunately, you know, this person is like that. Okay, what's going on in their energy? I just saw the Five of Swords as well. What's going on in their energy, please? They're manipulative with their emotions. You know, the problem with this person is, years and years and years ago, somebody did them wrong emotionally. Could have been anyone. Okay, and they're still carrying that from the day dot. All right, they never got over it. They never worked through it, and it stunted their emotional growth. But that is not your problem. That is not your problem. What's going on in their environment, please? These cards are heavy. Okay. Well, I know for a fact that they've got a dysfunctional family. There were problems within that family, okay? I don't know who was enabling who in it or what went on, but there was definitely problems within that family. Yeah, you could have had family that got involved in this as well. You know, the third spoke in the wheel. Not romantic. I'm not getting romantic third party. I'm getting one person who thought they knew best. And you know what it's like sometimes with families. There was definitely a dysfunctional. But I do feel that your person doesn't want to be where they are now. What else, please? No, they're thinking about you. Okay, they made a choice, but it's not working out. But what they're doing now is they're looking. I feel really strongly that they are obsessing over how they can paint you another fairy story. Okay. The happy ever after white picket fence, just a saying, so you know what I mean. So, but you never quite get the white picket fence. You just get this carrot that's dangled. Okay, I think this person wants to come back in, and I think they want to tell you that you are, you know, the love of their life, etc., etc., and that you're all going to live happily ever after. Okay. I think within their environment, they made the wrong choice, which they are now regretting. I think they've had their fingers burnt, fingers in too many pies. What else is going on in the environment? Yeah, they're not happy. They're not happy with the choice they made. I think they've done it before, though. I think they've done it before. And I think it goes way, way back that this person is emotionally manipulative. They know what they're doing. They will come across as very kind, very caring. Let me help you. Let me do this. Let me do that, etc., etc., etc. And, you know, they could have kept this charade up for a while, but then, no. They switch out on you, okay? But you never quite got what they promised you. But nobody will. Okay, nobody will. And unfortunately, you know, now I'm as old as I am, and a lot more life behind me than I've got in front of me, some people don't change. Unless you know, you're willing to do the work and realise, you know, maybe this happened and that happened. And some people don't do it, okay? And this person came across as having a great deal of empathy, but their emotional growth is stunted. They could be narcissistic, you know, or those kind of tendencies, but they don't have the empathy that they pretended to have. So I think when they were with you, they were mirroring your empathy and your love, okay, because they don't have it. They're kind of empty, and they can't keep that up. They couldn't keep it up. But where they are now, that, you know, 5 of Cups, they're not happy, all right? They do like to play the victim. They're very wrapped up in their own sort of sense of stuff. I think they're obsessed in watching what you're doing because they can't work out how you've managed to move on without them, but you have, and I'm really proud of you. Keep doing your self-concept work, get yourself back, get your own values back, who you really, really are, okay? And, you know, this sort of person will do it again to the next person, and the person, it was never you, okay? It was never you. And then sometimes you might think, well, why would I attract that? Sometimes, you know, we can attract people in like that because we don't have strong enough boundaries, and I know that from experience. And the boundaries card's here in your energy, so quite often people with that type of personality will be drawn to people who maybe who are more trusting and kind, okay? Because you don't think that somebody's only being nice to you to get what they want, because that's not how you operate. But unfortunately, that's how this person operates. They are not happy where they are. They're not happy with the choice they've made. They could be stuck in a family situation they can't leave, but they want to know why. It's like they're going to want to come back and hoover you in. Yeah, they were toxic, I think, and they were abusive with this card, but I do feel they will try and come back in. They won't have a plan. It'll be out of the blue. They can just be really rude as well, okay? They can be really, really rude. Anything else on their environment, please? Yeah, I think they'll come back in if you've been apart for over a year, specifically. I think this could happen in the autumn, this energy. I feel it's in the autumn, but I feel what they're disappointed about is there's some financial thing that they thought was going to be a gift from the gods that hasn't worked out, okay? You know, there's definitely a monetary issue here that's disappointed them. Maybe they're not getting their hands on something. Maybe that's it. But they have been trying to find out what you're doing. But I see your boundaries very, very strong. You're quite happy doing what you're doing with this card. You're quite comfortable where you are. You've really worked very hard and you are protected. I always feel Temperance for me is a guardian angel card. You know, so sometimes, although I do believe we totally create our own reality, my experience of life, and I can only talk about that, and anyone can only talk about their own experience, so always go with what you believe, okay, not what someone else says. But, you know, sometimes I think we can be removed, or situations can come to an end because it's almost like our higher self. Your higher self can see the whole lot, whereas, you know, the bit that's in us, the bit of soul that's in us can't. We can't see everything. Okay, but you're quite happy and comfortable where you are. You're doing okay. You know, you've set some boundaries. I think really, really worked on yourself now, that you're not really going to be interested in this. No, you could have been dealing with a fire sign person. Okay, it could have been a fire sign. Let's see what the best possible outcome is with this. What are they going to do? I feel it'll be the autumn. Maybe they're going to run out of money. Oh yeah, they're going to come back in Page of Wands. Okay, you are in this person's head rent-free at the moment. But I will say, before I wrap this up, I'm going to say it because I just feel it with this. Sometimes there are people, I mean, you can manifest anybody back in, all right? You can change the story. But sometimes there's only so much energy or time you want to spend changing the story, depending on what your story is. But, you know, this person, I feel, doesn't like to lose, okay? And it's all that bit about hoovering you back in, because it's all gone wrong in their environment, okay? Yeah, they're struggling, you know, they're struggling at the moment. Yeah, they're struggling, they really are struggling. They can be, they're not just emotionally manipulative, I think they could be quite cruel with their words as well with this card. Emotionally, well, you know, when you manipulate someone's emotions, quite often people will do it with the silent treatment. That's that, you know, you don't speak to someone, you get ignored, okay, and then you just get the odd little breadcrumb, and obviously, you know, the fantasy of the dangling carrot, which never quite seems to make it to the table, okay. So yeah, I do feel they will come back in once they have work something out. They're going to disconnect from the environment they're in, okay. They're going to make a choice and disconnect, but they just seem to ignore their responsibilities. They just ignore their responsibilities. Clarify that card for me. I don't like this energy today. I don't like it. No, they think their truth is the truth, and you know, they're very hot and cold and very in and out, and once they've made their mind up, they don't care what chaos they cause. They don't care. This person doesn't care, okay. They really, really don't care, but neither do you, because they've met the match now. We've got a pair here, okay. You're like, watch me. You've really got a very strong boundary here. Really, 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 you've just like blocked them, okay. You've blocked them. So it's just a heads up really to say, yeah, they are low-key obsessed, possibly watching you, not in a horrible, horrible way, but they don't like to lose. Classic energy of, I don't want to play with that toy unless somebody else wants it, and then I want it back, and then when I've got it back I don't want it, okay. You have got yourself into a better place with that now. You've done a lot of healing, you know. It wasn't a quick ending, it was a slow burning, torturous ending I'm hearing here for you, mentally and emotionally. You've got yourself back on track. You've realised what makes you tick. You've done maybe some shadow work or whatever. You've started to heal those wounds, okay? And you're like, you know what? I don't want to speak to you. You know, you come anywhere near me. You don't mess with the Queen of Swords, okay? That's your energy. You don't mess with the Queen of Swords. The Queen of Swords will have your head off before you can breathe. You know, you're just not interested. And I'll say before I finish it, not tarot related, but just life experience, especially with people like this, once you put those boundaries up and you're like, no, it almost becomes more of a game to them. Okay, that they want you back. They want you back. Let me just get a card for you, some advice before we wrap this up. Just get this deck out. What advice, please, besides keep the sword up? That's what I would be doing if this was my reading. Okay, what advice, please? embrace those around you. Yeah, that's temperance. Temperance is many meanings, lots, you know, but what I'm getting with temperance is that you've reached a comfortable point now. Might not always be massively exciting, but you've got peace, okay? You've got peace. You're being asked to continue to surround yourself with those who love you and share your beliefs, like-minded people, okay? Always be willing to accept help from others. There are people around you who love and adore you. I know that if you've been through this and somebody's pretended that there's something they're not, and then you don't find it easy to trust. It's human nature, you know, like I said, the brain keeps you safe. But there are people around you that love you very much, okay? You know, I just feel the message there is stay in, you know, you'll stay where you are almost. Don't let this person upset the apple cart when they come back in with this message. And don't let them cause you any more anxiety than they've already caused you, okay? You've got some really good people around you, if this is your reading today. People who care about you, people who love you. All right, don't let this person get to you again, because you've got this card here. You've got some wonderful news on its way, okay? Just as an aside, you're going to make some new friends as well. Communities of like-minded people will draw closer to one another. Okay, you've got some exciting new beginnings, but with that and the other card, it's people who love you just the way you are, okay, and they're kind and they're genuine. They're genuine. That's what I'm hearing. Genuine people that won't do to you what happened here. So I'll leave that with you. Always remember, you're on the pedestal. You are enough. There is nothing wrong with you. You're amazing. You're wonderful. Okay, you're magnetic. All right, just keep repeating that. Especially if you're having a bad day, just repeat it to yourself and you will start to feel better. Okay, I love you all. Take care. Bye.